Hi guys, it's Brenda Sue again from Bisou Boutiques, and I have a nice little tip for you today to show you how to dull down a little bit brightly gold plated material, brass and pewter and all that good stuff. Sometimes you get it and you think, I don't want that blingy of a look this time. It's a little too shiny for me. So what can I do? Because it's plated. Well, if you'll come on over here, I'll show you what I do with gold plating that's kind of bright, and it works so easy and it's super simple and fast. Okay guys, so sometimes you get gold plate that has a lot of detail, but you just really can't hardly see it because it's so blingy and shiny, So, what are you going to do about that? What are you going to do? How are you going to take care of that? Well, there are some simple ways, but just to get you to see how much difference you can make on your own, working at it. I've got my gloves on because I don't want to get all painted up. Last night when I was working on this, I got it all painted up. You can darken this very easily with black acrylic paint. No kidding, really. Now, as you can see, this one has been done, but it's still pretty shiny. But I like it shiny. I just want to be able to see the detail a little bit better. So I did a couple of light coats, wipe on, wipe off. And I'm pretty happy with this, but I might do another one yet. Maybe we'll do it together. This one I did. These two I did. And then I decided to go ahead and take my paint pens and go over them, and I just kind of did it in a very uneven way. If I wanted to do this in a real precise way, I probably should have taken my color and done it with a little paintbrush and some acrylic paints, but I used my Testors markers, and they were pretty good for this, especially if you don't want a real precise look, because some of it I'd wipe off and go back and stuff. But I thought this came out really pretty. I can't wait to make something from it. I might even go like that and then put a little centerpiece connector up there and go from there to make a necklace. It's very pretty how that came out. But let me show you what I did to kind of dull this down. I hope the lights aren't too bright. You can see the difference. You can see on the back. See, there's black paint in those crevices. On these, there's none. So maybe this is a good way to show you.
There you go.
And you can see how much darker this one is than this one, because this one hasn't been done. Okay, I'm going to take these off the white pad because I don't want to get paint on this. So I'm going to move them off there. Hopefully there's not too much glare. You can see what I'm doing. It's the only thing. But anyway, so what I do is very, very simple. I take one of these little paint trays, or, just whatever you got, piece of plastic or whatever works for you. And I think actually, I hope this doesn't create more glare. I might put this down over here.
You want to put a paper towel maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Let's do that because it won't be so bright. Maybe you guys will be able to see it better, and I won't get paint all over this. I can get it off of this, but I have to scrape it. I'd rather not. You know what I'm saying? So okay, so we'll do it on there, and I think it'll be good. So I just take a little bit of this paint. Whoops. I already shook it up, because sometimes you want to shake it up a little bit to mix it. I already did that. And really, I wouldn't need this much paint. This much paint's enough to antique a lot of pieces. But, I did it now. So, let's just start out by doing this one here. And I'm going to stick my brush. Oh, that's another thing I like to use. I'm sorry, I should introduce these. I like these little foam brushes for this job, and I'll show you why. Makes it so easy. So I'm just going to kind of take some of it off here, and I'm just going to easily go. It's so pretty and shiny, but it will look good this way too. So we want to get a good amount of paint down in there, so we kind of try and get all the detail that we can. And another thing we will want to do is we'll want to do the back as well, because that's too shiny. I'll do that at the end though, but just mentioning it in case I forget to go back, you'll know you want to do the back too. Now, put a little bit more. I'm going to let this sit for just a minute. Not too long. I don't want it to set up. You can see how different that is from this. Way different. But you can still tell it's gold. You can still tell it's gold. So now I'm going to do the next one so I have both of them to work on. So, get a little bit. I should have got my skinnier foam brush for this. But anyway, you see. So I'm getting this on a little bit more darkly. I think I should do that here too. I want to get even coverage, as much of the even coverage as I can on this. So that when I wipe it off, it's, you know, they look the same. Not one's darker than the other, you know, stuff like that. All right. So I'll do the backs last. But just remember when you're doing yours, to go ahead and do the backs. All right, now I'm going to put this aside. Now, here's what I like to do. I don't take a piece of steel wool to this. You could, but only after it's dry. If you do it now, you'll remove it all. You don't want to do that. So, these are really kind of good because I like to use the side of it, and it just kind of polishes it away a little bit. Just kind of buffs it away a little bit.
Getting the detail as possible.
Yeah, it's a nice little tip. These foam brushes come in handy. But you can see, you know, it's very much different than the original color. It's very much, it's kind of grayed down a little bit. It's not as blingy. And you can see the detail better. You can see all these pretty little vines and stuff. This is a fun piece to paint as well. If you like to paint, it's a fun piece to do that. So let me turn this around now because I've got stuff all over. You may not see it. Okay. So they're fairly even. There's a little bit more antique down in here. So you just keep working at it. You know, you stand back from them kind of and look at it and make sure. And sometimes little fibers will form on here or even on a paintbrush or paint pen. From going over it and kind of scrubbing at it, so make sure none of them get down on there because they're hard to get off, and sometimes you'll go ahead and you'll paint over and it looks not so good. So honestly, I kind of like them like that. I think for me those are done. Let me hold that up in my hand. For me these are done. But if you want them darker, all you have to do is repeat. Just repeat the process until you get it the way you want it to be. And it's as simple as that. Okay, so I'm going to put just a little bit more so I get the backs, and then I'll work on these other two pieces. So I'm just doing the back, and you want to go, you know, onto the sides too.
I have a question.
Yes, tell me.
What paint did you use to?
I used this kind. I'm sorry if I didn't tell you. Very simple craft store acrylic black paint, like costs $1. You know, goes like forever. I have a lot of use for it. So yeah, thanks for prompting me on that, Javi, because I don't think I told them. But yeah, just black acrylic paint. You don't need anything fancy. You don't need anything expensive. And you know, these are B Super 1928 components, of course, which are my line that I developed with 1928 Jewelry Company, and I love, and they're high quality. But you know, being honest, you may have some parts that you got somewhere else. Maybe it's repurposed stuff. Maybe it's brass that's got a high polish to it. And you might say, well, you know, I just don't want it that bright. Well, you can use this technique on it. It works great. The only time where you'll have trouble with it is if the piece has no texture. If the piece has no texture, then you might have some difficulty trying to get it to stay. And I'll give you a case in point right here. This piece. Now, I might even want to do this again because it's even brighter. In fact, I'm going to do it right now. You'll see you've got these big open spaces where it's really, you know, slick. That's probably not going to take very well. But you know what you want to do is you want those letters to stand out, the word love. That's what you want. So it doesn't really matter if it doesn't take so good. The contrast is nice, and it works out. So now you can see, man, that's really, it really shows now. But you're probably not going to want to leave that much on it. And another thing is when you do this, and you go across the slick place where there's no texture, see how it wants to make marks, and it's a kind of streak?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want that. So what do? Well, take, the edge and just kind of polish it out. Because you really don't need a lot of paint on here to make it, pop for you. And just kind of dull it a little bit. So you have a nice antique gold when you're done. Very nice, classy antique. Because this finish that we do is 22 karat gold finish dip. So it's pretty rich. It's really gold. So to, gray it down a little bit, that's all you got to do. And see, it pretty much matches this stuff. It's got about the same amount. And, if you let it dry and you say, oh, I don't like that, you can go back and do it again. Once you have wet paint over this again, so long as you have not sealed it, you can buff it back out, however you want. And that's the thing, you do have to seal it when you're done painting it. If you're just going to put the black antique on it, that's cool, that works. If you're going to paint it, like I did with this one, then you have to seal it when you're done. You can paint it first and then seal it at the end. At least one light misting coat of Krylon both sides. Krylon matte lacquer. Get it at the hardware store, Walmart, whatever. They all have it. Okay, so that's basically how it's done. I'm not going to go ahead and do these other pieces because there's no point in it. You can see, it's simple. It's the same no matter what piece you do. It's the same principle. You just get your acrylic gloss paint and get matte paint, satin paint, doesn't matter. Just, you don't need to spend any money. You just put a little bit in a little container and get these foam brushes, which are very, very expensive. But if you use acrylic paint with the brushes, you can wash them out. If you want to, you can wash them out and have them ready for another time. It will work. So anyway, that's pretty much what you do. Oops, I have to remember to do the back again. So anyway, I'll do that and say goodbye to you for this time. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it will help you out. And come join us at the Bisou Boutiques Creative Group on Facebook. And you can show us what you've done with your stuff. We'd love to see. And also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you wouldn't mind. It would make me so happy if you would. I don't get anything for that, by the way. Why do people ask you to do that? It's because they like to see, the people like to see people watching their videos. They like to see followers. Makes other people want to stop and see what's going on here. This must be pretty good, all these people watching it. So that's why. YouTube doesn't give you anything for that. But please do it. Like, comment, and subscribe if you don't mind. If you liked it, then comment. Or put a thumbs up for us, please. All right. Go have some fun. See what you come up with, okay? Catch you later. Bye.
Bye.